Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. The Gaza conflict once again become a major global topic. This time it is because US President Donald Trump has come up with a new plan that he says can bring peace to the region. Hamas has said they are open to discussion but want to change some points. Israel, however, has rejected several parts of the plan. Still, Mr. Trump calls it is a final chance to bring peace to the West Asia. But many people are not convinced. They remember that earlier this year, other ceasefire which was arranged by the United States which collapsed when Israel pulled out after the very first step. Because of that, people are calling this plan a last chance, but they are unsure if it really works. So here, you should understand what does this plan actually says. Here we can say that this plan namely outlined what the US want to see Gaza soon. Interestingly, it does not mention the creation of Palestine state. Instead, it focuses on bringing some order to Gaza and rebuilding it under international supervision. So the only clear timeline is that Hamas must release the Israeli hostages within 72 hours of ceasefire. We can say that everything else remain unclear. Now, for Hamas and Palestine, the plan includes several strict conditions. One, they are expected to release the hostages. Second, give up the weapons. Third, reform the Palestine Authority and accept a new system which is run by an international board of peace which is headed by Donald Trump. And fourth, this plan also suggests an international force to keep security in Gaza. However, when it comes to the Israel part, we can say that this plan is very vague. It does not say when the Israel should stop fighting or when it should withdraw its forces. It also says nothing about the West Bank. Because of this, we can say that this plan looks unbalanced. It gives a detailed instruction to the Palestinians but leaves the Israel responsibility open-ended. This imbalance has made many people call the plan is one-sided. It talks about the peace and the rebuilding but gives no fixed step or deadlines. Hamas has already said it cannot agree to the ceasefire if fighting continues at the same time. Mr. Trump's request to the Israel to stop bombing in Gaza is important. But the history shows that Israel rarely listens to such advice from Washington. So the main focus of this plan is to release of Israel hostages. This is very emotional issue in Israel and the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is under pressure to bring them home. But once those hostages are released, most of the power to decide the Gaza future will lie with the United States and Israel. There is no independent groups to monitor if both sides are following the rules. So the plan also talk about the releasing some Palestinian prisoners. But that may not change much. Israel continued to arrest the large number of Palestinians we can say that over around 80,000 have been detained in the West Bank since October 2023. So in practice, this plan might not make any real difference. In many ways, the plan reduced the pressure on Israel and shift the burden to Hamas and the Palestine. If they fail to follow any part of the deal, Israel continue to control over Gaza will seem justified. Since Mr. Netanyahu has already said Israel troops will stay Gaza, the plan could end up making that control permanent. There is also another proposal for international peace force to manage Gaza. But this can only work if regional countries, especially Gulf countries, show a strong commitment. but we can say that so far their involvement has been limited. They are more focused to maintain a relationship with the Israel and managing tension with the Iran and protecting the agreement like Abraham Accord rather than pushing for a two-state solution. The plan also fails to give Palestine a voice in deciding their own future. It will suggest that Gaza will be run by a team of experts reporting directly to Mr. Trump. Hamas has rejected this idea, which says that decision about Gaza should be made by all Palestinians through a collective agreement. In addition, there is another point that we all should be noted. The plan repeats an old idea of turning Gaza coast into a river area with a modern city and an industry to reduce the poverty. It sounds good, right? But it ignores the current reality. Many Palestinians are still losing their homes and their lands, especially in the West Bank, where the Israel settlements are expanding every day. In the end, the plan avoids a central issue, what we can say that the creation of a Palestinian state. It does not follow the international law, the United Nations resolution or the 1967 the border framework. Instead, it supports the Israel present position more than a fair global view of peace. This brings us a key question. How long can such ceasefire last if the foundation is weak? Or we can say that what will stop a new violence once the hostages are exchanged? And will the US or the Gulf countries actually intervene if fighting begins again? The sad truth is that the dream of the two-state solution is moving further away. Every day, new settlements and continuing blockades make peace harder to achieve. So, while this plan is called a peace plan, it may turn out to be a peace illusion, something that looks good on paper, but it is failed to solve the deeper conflicts. And history has shown us that peace without justice never lasts. So thank you for listening. I hope this session helped you to understand the meaning and the limits and the real impact of the Trump's Gaza ceasefire plan. Stay curious, keep learning, and see you in the next session.